Zensire's Perform and Engage is based around a check-in, conversation workflows, and our powerful analytics. So first of all, let's get started with the check-in. Today, I'm George Davis, and I can view, as you can see on my screen, my profile. Within my profile, I have access to my check-ins, and we'll come back to check-ins very shortly. Conversations, which are typically annual reviews, one-to-ones, 360 feedback, anything that typically requires a face-to-face conversation with a peer or with your manager. Feedback, this is your ad hoc feedback. You can give and request feedback at any time during the year, and you can do that from this tab. And then in addition, you'll see any files or training also within your account. At the top, you'll see your goals. And once again, we'll come back to goals a little bit later. So when your check-in's due, you'll receive an email, a mobile notification, or indeed a notification through Microsoft Teams. So if we want to do that a little bit earlier than the notification, just click Complete Check-in from within the profile screen. And your check-in will come up on the screen. The great thing about the check-in is it's completely flexible to your organization. So whilst we suggest a range of questions, a range of reflective questions, you can choose any questions you want either from our question bank or add any questions either on a weekly basis, or you can rotate these around. So for example, you could add some pulse questions over time. For the employee, they can see exactly who this will be going to, and this is the manager, Jamie Jones in this case, and you'll see the questions are listed within the check-in. So I can start answering these check-in questions, and this is really about taking a reflection on the week or the last couple of weeks and providing that feedback to the manager, but at the same time also reflecting as an individual on what's gone well and maybe some of the challenges that I've had. So I can simply add in the elements that I want to include. So in this case, I'll mention that I successfully conducted a training session on some new software. In this case, I will add in that I've implemented a new employee feedback system. And then finally, I'm going to complete some quarterly reviews. And again, I can include that in my check-in. Then I can reflect on what hasn't gone well this week. Well, I faced a few difficulties dealing with the IT department. So actually I'm going to include those in my check-in here and just include that mentioning within this question itself. If for any reason while you're providing that feedback, you would like to attach something to the response, you can also drag and drop attachments within the check-in as well. Here we have a pulse question. Again, you can configure different types of questions. So whether that's a qualitative text-focused question or whether it's something a little bit more quantitative, which we see in this case, you can include those as part of the check-in process. Finally, there is a real opportunity here to also provide recognition. So here we can see, has anyone done a great job this week? And I could just use the @ symbol to start recognizing somebody. So in this case, I'm going to go in and mention Anthony, who's my colleague in sales and marketing. And I can just include here and say, thanks for your exceptional support in organizing the training session with the team this week. And Anthony's going to receive that notification. He's going to then see that added to his recognition profile as well. So he can reflect on that, and of course, moving forward, we'll be able to include that in any performance reviews or conversations he has with his manager. You'll also see here I've got a department-based question. Once again, as well as specifying those questions that you want to include in the check-in, you can also specify team level questions, department level questions, location, or of course across the entire organization. Finally, in the check-in, you'll see your goals. And this is where you have the ability on a week-to-week basis just to reflect on where those goals are up to. If you're a team leader, you may have team goals. Again, if you're heading up a department, you may see some department goals that you're updating. And of course, you will see any personal goals that you have here. And it's very easy just to update the goals as you go through. We'll talk more about setting goals a little bit later, but you can manage your goals directly from this screen in the flow of your check-in if you wish to. Then, at any point, you could save as draft and come back later, or you can simply submit. And this will go directly through to your manager, where they'll receive a notification and they can provide comments back to you. So what does it look like from a manager's perspective? Well, I am also a manager within my setup here today. So I can simply go to the My Team tab and I'll see a list of all of my direct reports in the profile here. You can also see any conversations which are in play. So these could be one-to-ones or performance reviews. You can see their progress towards goals, and you can also see any check-ins that are due for review. So in this case, I can pick up Emily's last check-in, click review, and then immediately it will load up the responses that Emily's provided in her most recent check-in. So I can see that she's completed the manager version of the new absence 6 tracker log. I may want to provide a comment, or I can just do a quick thumbs up if I want to acknowledge it. Again, I can add a comment. So in this case, great job. Let's discuss further in our next one-to-one. And that will go straight through to Emily, and she'll be able to see that come straight through to her. You'll also notice there's another button here which is called our share option. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to share the comment that's been provided by or the reflection that's been provided by the employee, and you can either do what we call a pass up, which will share it with your direct manager, or a pass across, which will allow you to share it to somebody else in the organization. You can only do this if the employee hasn't marked the response as private, which means that you won't be able to share that with anyone else in the organization. This functionality is great for providing exposure to employees within the organization, providing them with a bigger profile. It's a great way of sharing some of the great work coming from your team through the management structure in the organization itself. Again, I can see what hasn't gone well this week, and again, I can provide commentary, or I can provide feedback in other ways too. And again, you can do exactly the same with goals. So if somebody's struggling to progress their goal, of course, you can go in and provide support with a comment, or indeed you can share the progress and celebrate the success by passing up or passing across that response as well. You also have the ability to view the history of that goal. So by clicking view history, that will load up the analytics behind that goal for you as a manager. So it's very easy to go in and see how that goal has progressed over time. Once you're done, there's no need to click any more buttons. It will automatically be marked as reviewed, and the employee will receive that feedback via a notification. So now we've covered check-ins, the next item to cover as part of our perform area is what we call conversations. Now, conversations are any generally face-to-face conversation that you may have with your manager or with peers. And these are all built up around templates and workflows. And with the admin section of Perform 365, you can create those workflows and those templates that work exactly as you need them for your business. In this case, we're going to go in and have a quick look at one example. And some really popular examples of performance conversations or conversations within the platform are around probation or onboarding reviews, sometimes 30, 60, 90 plans. You may also see one-to-ones, and of course, the annual review or the regular performance review. So if I click on view, this will take me into my performance review this year. And the great thing about conversations within Perform 365 is that you're able to use all of the automation from data in the check-ins and the feedback you've received during the year, whether it be recognition or ad hoc or peer feedback during the year, to really build out that performance conversation and reduce the time it takes to actually get up and running and get to that face-to-face conversation. So whether it's peer feedback or whether it's looking at your recognition over that period, you can go in and quickly see that as part of the platform.